Last episode, I spent 180 days in hardcore uncovering this entire trail ruin. In this episode, I built a beautiful waterfall with calcite cliffs and custom trees to enhance the surroundings before finally restoring the ruins themselves in a later episode. To kick off this process, I replaced most of the moss we used last episode with grass to make our starting canvas a little nicer on the eyes. I drew a picture of my vision for the build, then formulated a checklist of everything I'd need to accomplish this dream. Okay. So here's something cool we can do, chat. If I pause the game, I go to pictures, and I go here, with Essential Mod, we can actually draw what we want this build to look like. So let's start with a waterfall going down this way. And if we're building a waterfall, I think this is kind of like dripping down. It's like slanted at a 45-degree angle, which means that I want to have a mountain. I want like a bigger section of this up here, maybe even higher. Something right here where more water is going to be trickling out of. So it's gonna like spread this way and then flow down. Okay, then on this side, we want a cliff. So we have stone, then on top of the cliff is going to be some moss, so we'll draw some moss on the top here, and then inside the cliff is going to be calcite, right here. Oh, too much. I haven't even really thought about what kind of biome I want the trail ruin to be in, because we're going to have calcite up here. Now, what kind of vibe do we want going on down here? Ooh, I kind of like the idea of jungle trees. I want one big one in the backdrop over here. Like, that's going to droop leaves over the top of the waterfall, you know what I mean? Like, something like that. Giving the whole base some shade, you know? Is that ambitious? It's fine. We can do it. And then we'll just have jungle trees chilling around here. This is some good terrain we're drawing right here. We have jungle trees around here that are going to be in front of this calcite cliffs that's going to be here. And then I'd like this to transition to dirt over here. We have the big tree over the waterfall. And then everything else I think is improvisable, right? So for the calcite cliffs, obviously we need a ton of calcite. I'm thinking we probably need about 10 stacks. What else? Let's take a look at that picture again. Obviously, we're going to need water, but I don't think I really need to think about that one. But I think this checklist is a good start. So, this is what we're looking for now. Let's go on an adventure to find the more exotic ingredients.
After the plan was in place, I started by collecting all the items one by one.
There we go. We did it! All of our terraforming materials are done, and I have a strong feeling that we're gonna find out very soon that we do not have enough.
When all the items were collected, I used cobblestone to outline my vision and estimate whether the materials I gathered would be enough.
Next step in this project, we are going to trace what we are going to be building with cobblestone real quick. So I think I want the cliffs to start about 3/4 of the way up. Like, I want the cliff to start here. I am now realizing we definitely don't have enough blocks. Okay, and the waterfall is going to go like here. So let's cut off where the cliff is going to be here. And then send it across, and this is where it's going to connect with the terrain. Alright, it doesn't look like much now, but this is the general shape of the terraforming that we are going to be doing. And now that we're looking at it, I am most certainly going to need more blocks. So here's what I want to do, chat. We did some of this the other day. We're going to collect some pale oak wood, because it goes really well with calcite in terraforming, and if we want to texture this thing, we can include some pale oak in it. That's also going to save us some resources when it comes to using calcite. Okay, what I want is that the top half of the cliffs are all going to be calcite coming down from here, and then in the back layer, for depth reasons, is going to be diorite and cobblestone transitioning down like a gradient. I kind of want to grab a bundle for us to build with. Okay, so that is the start of our calcite pale oak base of this cliff. The cobblestone on the top is going to get replaced with moss. But the plan is that we're going to add a back layer that starts as diorite and then transitions down into cobblestone and andesite and stone. Let's copy this onto the cliff of the other side. I think this cliff actually needs to be longer in comparison to the cobblestone on that one. Like, does that look uneven to you guys? I feel like when I look at this thing centered with the waterfall behind the tower, it needs to be even length. Alright, let's get to adding the calcite and the pale oak to this side to match that side, and then we're going to work on the gradient. This project is moving along nicely. Okay, let's take a look at this from over here. It looks good. This one is pretty much all set, but this one right here, the land is very close to the calcite, and I want them to feel like cliffs, so we're gonna have some digging to do in order to make this look right. But I think we're gonna start with that side first, just because it's easier and I'm lazy. And what we need diorite to start the gradient, and then we're just going to use andesite, cobblestone, and stone to fill that in. The diorite is a lot darker than I thought it was. Like, that looks a little too dark. I think we're going to be adding vegetation and vines and stuff like that, so I think by the time this is done, this is going to look a lot better. The next thing we have to do is just incorporate the stone into it, which means in my inventory, this is going to get tricky. Yeah, I kind of like how this looks. This is cool. I don't know if, I think we might have needed more to transition from the diorite to the stone, but I think it works well, and I don't think anyone's going to look too closely at that. This is looking really nice. Let's take a look at this from back here. Yo! I like this. This is sick. This is so cool. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm so pleased. I almost never freehand terraforming, or in terms of big builds in Minecraft, I almost never do them in general, because freehand. I always build in creative mode first, and I'm trying my best not to do that at all in this world, and I think it's paying off. This is going well. Alright, how does this look? This is looking so decent. We're gonna add vegetation. I think we could probably go back a little bit more on the layers right here. Like right here, it's fairly short, so it looks fine, but that just looks too tall. So that means the next thing we have to do is replace all the cobblestone in the build with moss. Cobblestone on the mold. The most annoying part of this is that we have to integrate it into the terrain still. I could pull a green. Should I pull a green, chat, and just not do the not do the back? Alright. This is a good start. I think maybe we should do the moss on that side. We'll take a break, go get some vines, and then we'll start with the vegetation. I'm gonna let this grow and then adjust it when it has grown. And we'll use the right-clicking with shears feature to set the vines exactly where we want them to be. Alright, already adding mossy cobblestone to this build is helping a lot with the immersion. Kind of like visualizing the vines are infecting inside the stone and not just on the stone. How does this look? I think this looks pretty good as well. I think, what are we gonna do this stream? I think we'll integrate these into the terrain on the edges here, and then we can start the waterfall. Okay. I think this integration already looks really good. Now we just have to replicate that onto the other side over there. Yeah, I think just this much is fine. Maybe we can add some vines over there later. But generally, the cliff is done. I would like to add maybe some moss trimming on the ground in front of it, but I'm scared if I do all that and I bone meal moss in front of it, and I don't like it, it's going to be such a hassle to remove. So maybe I just do it to one section and then see what it looks like. Alright, let's try it over here. Okay, I think we'll do the moss trim around the base of the cliff all the way around. But we are going to get rid of the azalea bushes, and I think what would probably be better is azalea leaves and the occasional flowering azalea. Yeah, I think this looks really good. We're obviously going to have to do some more terraforming on the grass below it, but I think for now, this looks good. I want to get to the waterfall, because the waterfall is the coolest part. Have I ever built a waterfall without a reference before, or without, like, pre-building it in creative? I don't think I have. So this is going to be really interesting. We're going to start with the general shape using stone. So let's go 4 stacks of cobble. Do I have 4 stacks of andesite left? I don't. Okay, so this is going to be a struggle. Let's just grab all the stone we have, and let's start with this. We need to build the general shape of our waterfall, and we also have to visualize how the land is going to mold around it. We have a lot of trees back here as well that are going to need to be burned down because they're going to get in our way. Like this tree right here. Honestly, they're small enough, it's not even worth burning them. But let's get rid of a bunch of these trees that are going to have to be destroyed to make room for the waterfall. Let's get partial stack of cobblestone in this bundle, partial stack of andesite stone, and mossy stone is going to be the least. There we go, and then let's fill the rest with cobble. So what we need to do is break along here and set up the background of the waterfall. Okay, this is going to be our backdrop for the waterfall, so let's just go up. Okay, I actually really like this. I accidentally made a banger waterfall. We just have to mold this into the terrain somehow. And that's going to require a lot of stone. Oh yeah, this is looking so good. Shaders. Yo! This is slick. I kind of don't like how the shaders deals with the light under the cliff, but this is going to look so cool when it's done. I am so excited. Remember, this waterfall is super tall. It's going to go down here, but we're also doing the massive jungle tree draping over it. I guess we can start by simply building up. But then we're going to have to enlarge the trunk a little bit.
It was at this point that I got demotivated with this project. The reason is that when I stream to work on it, I feel too much pressure to talk while I build, and that tends to slow me down. For that reason, I recorded the final portion of this project off-stream, traveling to a jungle to collect an inventory of leaves, placing said leaves onto the large tree, adding overhanging leaves and glowberries to the tree, and finally constructing the waterfall.
Once I have the shaders on, this doesn't look too bad. You can't really see the water that's falling, though. I guess that's why people invented animated redstone recently. I think if I add some extra moss to the stone beside there, and then adjust the size and shape of the waterfall going down, I think it'll be a little bit better. This is my first time trying to make a waterfall, and I don't think it was too bad. As everything comes together, I'm slowly starting to think that this project isn't nearly as good looking as I thought it would be. On the bright side, a wandering trader showed up in the middle of this and sold me sea pickles that we're going to try to use to light this thing up. The last thing that needs to be done before the end of part 2 of this project is just adding some grass around, because right now it just looks really naked because of all the stuff we did last episode. So if we can just add some of that grass back, I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied with what we have. So but this is basically what I have for this episode. I'm on a bit of a time crunch, so I had to get this video out as fast as I could. But thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more, hit that like button, and there is still more to do on this project. Don't worry about it. I had the same disclaimer at the end of last episode. I have plans. I'm just not sure how much are going to get done next time. I want to add branches to the tree. Obviously, we have to do the back of the terraforming because we haven't even done that, but I don't plan on doing that until I want to build back there. And obviously, the last step of this thing is restoring the actual trail ruin. But until then, I'll see you guys next time, and goodbye.